Today, we are excited to dive into an invaluable onboard edition, Routware's premium video and picture services. These are powerful tools designed to help fleet operators increase safety, reduce go backs, and resolve issues faster through clear visual documentation. So today we will learn how live and recorded video can resolve disputes, support driver training, and we will also learn how 360 cameras and videos are essential for capturing clear evidence of contamination, missed picked up, and extra services. So I'm excited to introduce our today's panelists. So first, hello, my name is Annalisa. I am Routware's customer marketing specialist, and I am currently located in way too sunny today, Riverside, California. Today, we are hearing from Routware's finest, Charlie Bean, one of our top solution consultants, and we are also thrilled to have power users in our midst, Tyler Bandemer, a solid waste superintendent from City of Loveland, Colorado, and Nathan Rasmussen, crew supervisor of the City of Loveland. So thank you all for being here today. Excited to have you share your experience, how RCC's premium video transformed and helped your operations grow. So before we dive in, I want to give a moment to our panelists to quickly introduce themselves. So let's start with Charlie, and then Charlie, feel free to pass it over to Tyler and Nathan. And then Nathan, you can pass it on to me.
Okay, thanks, Annalisa. I'm Charlie Bean. I'm located in Tupelo, Mississippi. That's in northeast Mississippi. It's kind of near Memphis. Been in solid waste for a whole long time. Started at Waste Management in 1996 and spent over 20 years there. But relevant to today's conversation, 2013 was when Waste Management really got serious about implementing technology. I was very, very heavily involved in that transition to a more technologically advanced world, and really got me excited about that space within the solid waste industry. Led me to Routeware, where I've been for over 5 years now. Okay, Tyler.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tyler Bandemer. I'm the Solid Waste Superintendent for the City of Loveland. I've been in the solid waste business management industry, whatever you want to call it, for almost 20 years. Been in 2 different cities in 2 different states. Been with Loveland for about 14 years. We have been using Routeware for, I want to say, around 8 years. We started, I think, in 2017. That's when we introduced the product. And we started with just the picture service, and now we are in premium video. We're very, very big on technology. As much of it as we can get to make our operations safer and more efficient, we're all about it. So anyway, look forward to today's call. And Nate.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Nate Rasmussen. I work with Tyler Bandemer. I've been here, I think it's 30 years now. I started 10 years on the truck, so then I got promoted up into the office and the supervisor for 20 years. So I have a lot of on-hand experience out in the field, and then seen pretty much everything. But yeah, picture and video definitely changes the game compared to 30 years ago. That's for sure. So, and Elisa, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, it's awesome collaborating for today's webinar, and I'm excited to get started. But before we do get started, let's go over the agenda for today. We'll be exploring, or Charlie will get us started, and talking about the product, to just give us a full product overview, and as well as a platform demo, and then City of Loveland will take it away and let us know your experience. And then again, of course, today we will be having a dedicated Q&A at the end. So feel free to drop in your questions in the Q&A, and we will get to those at the end of today's session. Let's see, we also have the audience poll that I wanted to go over and share the results. So thank you everyone for participating in today's poll. So the first question was, do your trucks currently use any camera or video technology? And it looks like the majority of us, say 43% of us, say yes. Video and technology, or the video camera technology, is across the fleet, and that's the majority of us. So that's amazing. So thank you to those who are using our products. Then today you will hopefully get a really good bird's eye view into how you can use those capabilities to the maximum potential. We have 37% of us say yes. You are using camera and video technology, but only in some trucks. And then the least majority, but still quite a bit of us, at 20%, say not yet, but we're considering it. This is the place you want to be right now. We're going to go through all the details and all the nitty and gritty facts to see if this is the right place for you. And for the second question, are you currently using Routeware Smart City or RCC for camera video and technology? So 43% of us say yes, we are using Smart City or RCC for our camera and video technology. And then the next majority, but almost coming in tie for second place, would be no, we are using a different provider for camera and video. And then that's kind of almost tied with no, but we're exploring options. And then only 14% of us say, yep, but no current plans. Looks like we have a really good mix of folks who have already implemented video and camera technology into your operations. And then we also have a really good mix of who is using Smart City or RCC technology versus another provider. So we are thankful that you're here with us today and excited to jump into it. So with that, let's see. Charlie, feel free to let us know about premium video.
Okay, thanks, Annalisa. So premium video, you guys are going to get the recording here, so I'm not going to read this slide to you. You'll have an opportunity to read it for yourself. I'll just add some color, where I think it adds value. Premium video, what does that mean? Tyler mentioned earlier when they first started using Routeware, 8 years ago, there was only the picture service. There was no video. Later, there was basic video, which, the old days where you had to the video was being recorded in the vehicle, and if you needed to see that video, you needed to pull, a SD card or, a solid state drive out, bring it into the office. Premium basically means now having the capability of accessing that video across the data network. So no reason to go out, pull anything out of the truck. As long as the vehicle has a data connection, we'll be able to access that. Yeah, that's probably it for that slide, Annalisa. Okay, so kind of some of the features here. So 360-degree cameras. Basically, what that means is that we can mount up to 8 cameras on the vehicle. The cameras can be mounted around the vehicle or inside the vehicle. There is an option for like a dual-facing camera that sits inside the windshield. So one lens is looking out the front, one back at the driver. But up to 8 if you want to get that whole 360-degree view, a camera looking down in the hopper, all of that. So the live video that we're going to demonstrate in a minute, this is just the ability to look at any of your vehicles live, just what is going on right now, as well as to pull recorded video. So I know the vehicle, I know the date, the time I want to pull, so I can go back and pull that recorded video. Now there are options for back office integration. We're going to talk about Routeware Control Center today. We are looking to integrate this with all of our products, including Smart City and even some of our billing products like Elements. So there will be this integration today. The City of Loveland, they use our Routeware Control Center products, so we'll go through that. GPS tracking. What's nice about this is, obviously, if you have a tablet, some sort of a mobile device in the vehicle, or maybe you have something else as well, but if you're using a Routeware product, you'll get that GPS tracking just because the driver's got the tablet in the vehicle. There are also some GPS capabilities within the camera system. It has a SIM card in it. We're taking its GPS location. We can do a route playback, some cool stuff. So sometimes it's helpful. Maybe a vehicle's not even running a route, but we're driving it somewhere. We'll still be able to do that, AVL, that type of stuff. So photo capture, these cameras that we're going to talk about today, they are capable of taking still photos as well as rolling videos. So it's not 2 different cameras. It's just a little additional hardware that we would add to, what we'll call the mobile digital video recorder, MDVR. You might hear me call it camera controller. So there'll be the ability to capture those photos, and even for the driver to use some sort of a workflow. I tapped a button. We're going to talk about a pounder button in a minute. That I can use. This is not out. For example, and instead of taking the device out of its cradle, out of its mount in the vehicle and pointing it, I just want to fire that camera. Maybe on a service verification. There's even an option to firing all the cameras, at the same time. And then of course we'll show how we can download some of those videos and just into an MP4 file that you can share. Okay, Annalisa. Okay, so a couple of tech specs here. The MDVR, so it's it's just cast aluminum. It's very, very durable. It's mounted in the vehicle, typically maybe behind or under a passenger seat where you keep it out of the way. Really wide lens here, up to 129-degree, wide angle lens. So, you don't have a really narrow vision. Imagine if you had like a automated side loader and it's looking over there where the arm is going up and down, you're going to see, the curb, the driveway, the yard, all the way, up to the house there. Already mentioned that we'll be able to do the file transfer via cell, via the data network. 2 terabyte local storage. How much is that? It's a lot. I thought it was interesting to learn that the iPhone 17 is just about to come out, and it will be the first iPhone to ever have 2 terabytes of storage on it. Basically, while we've got that topic open, the video is going to live on the digital video recorder within the vehicle. It's not automatically uploaded into the cloud. There would be a lot of data costs associated with that, to say nothing of the storage, the cloud storage space. So to keep costs down, it's great to have cloud video, but it's super expensive. So to keep those costs down, we'll store it on a really big solid state drive. That means that video is not going to be overwritten. Depending on how many cameras you have rolling, how many hours a day, the routes are, this can be on your on that solid state drive for 6 weeks. If you had 8 cameras rolling 10 hours a day, maybe it would be 10 days. But if you have 2 cameras rolling 8 hours a day, 6-8 weeks. Okay, I already mentioned MP4. And then, I think we're going to get into this a little bit. This pounder button, kind of an easy button for not out or blocked, something like that. Just red is, if I don't have an automated vehicle, green I picked it up, red I didn't. But how does it work into pictures and video? Well, we can set up a workflow to where that red button basically indicates this was not out. We grab the date, time, lat long, fire the camera or cameras. And then we also, we're going to know the vehicle, the date, time, everything that we need to either go to the vehicle service system portal that we're going to demonstrate in a minute, or to enable that video integration. Okay, so I think we've got one more slide here, Annalisa. Okay, I was kind of conflicted over whether I wanted to narrate that. I just thought maybe everybody might want to see it. But basically, we saw that we had images from 3 different cameras around the vehicle. And just being able to go back. Obviously, we used an application to kind of stitch them together. But that's the type of video that's just rolling, all the time. I think Nate's going to talk about maybe some near misses or some coaching events, something like that we can look at. Okay. So, Annalisa, are we ready for me to share my screen?
That sounds good. I'll stop sharing. All right, you're up.
Okay. All right. So I should be sharing my screen now. Okay. So what I'm showing you now, this is the Routeware video portal. So basically, I just want to go through a few features here. We're going to just go through a couple of tabs. We're going to look at real-time location, maybe just glance at group monitoring, and then evidence, where we'll be able to. I know everybody's really anxious to get to historical video. So when we're in the live tab, obviously, what is going on, right now? I've got, all of my vehicles here. The different colors are just kind of letting me know something about the vehicle. It's moving. If it's in green, I can see this key here is letting me know if the ignition is on. So this obviously this is updating, from throughout the day. But any of these vehicles that are out there, they're on the route, I can just as I select some of those, I can just light them up on the map. You can use different icons if you want to, for different types of vehicles. So kind of get that, automatic vehicle, location in here. If I want to click in, learn a little bit more information about, any of those vehicles. For example, this particular vehicle, 9327, has 4 cameras, and I can see, I've got a health check here. They're all looking good. And then if I wanted to do something like just a little bit of a preview, I can just jump in there and, this is just basically going to bring up all the different video feeds. Now, these video feeds are live. And what that means is that's our bias is towards live. We want to minimize any type of buffering or anything like that. So the resolution here is a little bit lower, just so we don't encounter buffering, at this point. But when we look at recorded video, you'll see that it's in that full 1080p. Another use case, for this screen could be any of the vehicles here. I can just drop down all of the cameras, that are in this vehicle. And if I needed to jump in and see, just a video, just a live look, at what's going on in a particular video or particular vehicle, I'll be able to see, maybe here's the vehicle's not moving, but we can see that that the time is, and maybe let's say if we wanted to look over on the, right side, we can bring those up as well. Okay.
Charlie, if you want to go to an ASL, we can tell you
Yeah.
that that's a rear loader. So if you want to go to like 9363 or 64, those are side loaders that are probably operating right now.
Yeah. I can just make that be. Okay, so you can kind of see it's a little bit grainy here, but again, that's because our bias is towards live. I don't want to see that spinny wheel, right here. I want to see exactly what's going on in the vehicle right now. Okay. So, kind of what else can we do in here? There is kind of this, kind of group monitoring in here that I think is kind of interesting. You can basically I've got up to 9 vehicles that I can add kind of into this. It's kind of a spin on the live map here. I'll just add a few. So if these vehicles are out there moving, of course I get their location here, and as they move, I'll kind of get that blue line between them. This is going to be refreshing every 15 30 seconds, something like that. I was hoping to get lucky to find something that was actually, kind of moving. Well, we'll just kind of get the little blue line kind of for as long as I'm monitoring it through here. I'll be able to see that. Okay, let's jump over though to the evidence tab. A couple of things that maybe we could show in here, since we were just kind of looking. This is kind of like live vehicle track. There's also, kind of another way that we can do it, kind of a historical monitoring here. So we can go in and add, vehicles in here. Now note I've got my date and time selector up here. So I could have picked yesterday only between a certain number of hours, something like that. So, if I ever had that need to go in and see, well, I just want to like interrogate the breadcrumb trail of multiple vehicles in here. We can jump in. If I think this is maybe the one that I'm most interested in, I could go in there, click on that, see that breadcrumb trail. If I wanted to, interact with it, a little bit, bring it in, be able to do things like, if I zoom in here, set like my direction and heading, or enable some sort of a playback here. If I wanted to just go in there and just see my playback, then we'll be able to see, we'll fast forward it a little bit once the driver kind of gets off the yard here and gets going. So I'll be able to, zoom in here, see, a pretty nice playback in here. Anytime that I pause it, I can see the date and the time. So if I needed to get back to, to a particular video, something like, I know that something happened here as this driver got to, North Washington here and East 2nd Street. I've got the date and the time. It will help me go back and pull that that historical video through there. Okay. Now the track is just going to be doing one vehicle at a time. Maybe gives you a little bit more. Kind of gives you a little bit more detail. Again, that date, time that I want to pin. I'll just put in today, so far today, and then I'll just get kind of a full, maybe a bigger screen view of that, where I can bring in things. different maps. I can bring in the, kind of by speed. We're working in the city here, so everything's under 40 miles an hour. Direction, heading, any of that stuff that I want to add in there. Okay, but let's talk about, historical video. So let's say in here, basically what I'm going to want to do is, select my vehicle in here. So I've got one 9372 that I want to look at. And I've got a reason to go back and look at this. I can just put in my date time right here. So I'm going to put in, and I'll show you why I picked this very specific date and time here. I'm just going to put in something really small. You can put as long as you want in here. I could have picked days in the past, okay? But I was just going to pick something, from earlier today. Once I've selected my vehicle, date, the time range that I want, I can go in there and search for that. It goes out, across that data network and pulls the video in there. So here I've got the different cameras that I can look at. And if I want to go in and look at that, then I can just hit the play button here. Here it's going to go out, it's going to pull that, full 1080p video from here. So it takes, a little, a moment longer. It can depend on whether the truck has a strong data signal at the moment. So if we kind of spin, this is can kind of just be the danger of doing something, live as trucks are going in and out of a strong data network or data connection here. Let me just try. I've got, just in case, that happened, I got one more. We'll do 9382 here. If I can find that one. Tell you what. Let's just search that one more time. Make sure we can get the service. Okay, here we go. So here in my example, so let's say that, I knew that this is when the driver, maybe this resident here at 2625 Emerald Street has, basically called in to say, hey, we missed you, or maybe something happened. You ran over my mailbox or something like that. Here we'll see, we've got the full 1080p here. I'm just going to let it play here. So we kind of got a sweep, of that. Now we have the ability here to pause that video as I showed, at any time. So let's say that we were right here. If I wanted to take just a snapshot, of that, it'll just let me take a quick little snip of that. And then from there, I can, let's see, it's just going to pull it up over here on my other screen. Let's see if I can grab it. All right, it just pulled it over here where I can do things, I can share it, save it, on my hard drive. So I can pull, a screen snip, right out of there. If I wanted to download, that video, then I just hit the download button right there to start downloading, and it'll add it to a queue here. And once this is finished, it's just going to wait for a minute to download. Then from here, once it's completed downloading, then I'll be able to save it. Again, it'll be like an MP4 file that'll just go straight to your hard drive. You can put it on a thumb drive, whatever you've got to do. Now, what I thought I would do before I close it out and hand it over to our friends in Loveland, I thought I would talk a little bit about, how we can also integrate this video with our back office products. Today, we're kind of featuring, Routeware Control Center. So if I were to, and kind of, well, where can you see the video? So a couple of different places. I could go to this screen that we call, all events with GPS. So here we can see, the camera, every time we see this camera icon, that's just basically going to open up, an API call that we can make out to the video system. We already know the vehicle, the date, the time, which one of those cameras we want. So if I wanted to go in and search that for a particular address or anything like that, I could do that, using this map down here. I think it was 2625 Emerald Street. right? We could go in there, find that on the map here, click on any of that. It's a pretty quick way to find it. Another way that I can find it is just to go into what we call the service history. So if I go in here and search this, what it's going to show me here is, every time we've been there, this is like a full history of this service. So every time we've been there, what is the, what is the issue for today? Here, as I mentioned, the resident claims that it was not out. The driver's got a little bit of a different story to tell. We can look here and see, well, how close was the driver to the, to the location. So, red dot being there. It's like, this one's maybe, yeah, there we go. Like Google Maps hasn't updated as we get closer. This used to be a field. But as we get close, let me zoom out just a little bit and we'll be able to see, they're right on top of the house here. But if I needed additional information, here's that photo that the driver took. This could have been hitting the skip button on the tablet, hitting that pounder button that we talked about earlier. And then I've also got a quick way to pull the video. So here, if I needed to pick like the service verification camera, here it's letting me pick, well, how long of a video do I want? 5 seconds before and after the time when the driver indicated it was out or not out. Then I can request that video from here. It's just going to go out, make that call. And then to pull that video, I can go into the video playback portion. And here we're basically going to see the same video that we pulled through the Routeware video portal. We're going to actually be pulling it through the back office. So no reason to go, back out, sign into another application. So here's basically that same video that we just looked at through the video portal, but it is also within, the back office portal as well. Okay, I wanted to get through my part really quickly. I know you guys would probably want to hear from the users and not the person who's trying to sell it to you. So Tyler, Nate, anything that you guys want to weigh in on, anything I talked about, anything that I missed, we'd be really interested in how you guys are using it.
So I can definitely start with this one, and then I'll probably hand a bunch of it off to Nate because he's more of a daily power user. If we have anybody in house that does it the most, it's probably Nate. But so like I said, we've been using Routeware since 2017, and obviously we started with the cam, just the picture service because video was not available at that time. But we introduced the premium video back in, I think, 2023. It's been a couple, 2 or 3 years, maybe 22. One of the things that you were talking about, Charlie, well, let me start with the pounder button. That has really worked well for us. It doesn't incorporate so much the video, or at least if it does, I'm not aware of it. Nate might be able to speak to that. It's more of just the still pictures. But one thing we found with our drivers, is most of our drivers, they want to get their routes done as fast as they can. They don't want a lot of interruptions. They don't want to have to interact with the tablet and just the touch screen that much. And that pounder button has really been a godsend for us because even though we tell them to slow down for 2 things, for one, so the video is not, so it's not getting too blurry, but when they hit that pounder button, it automatically tells the tablet and the system to take a picture and mark it as not out. And that way they don't have to fiddle around with the screen, especially when it's cold out or they're trying to move along and do it. So that's really been a benefit for our drivers. They really like that. Talking about more video now, and I saw where 43% of the folks that are on the call today are using premium video. So, probably preaching to the choir about a lot of this, but it's no secret how valuable the videos can be, even if you're not using them daily or downloading videos every day. They really don't lie. And we, speaking of potentially hitting a mailbox, it reminds me of a call that we had about a year ago. We were in a nicer, little bit more affluent neighborhood. There was a brick mailbox, and of course the homeowner called in and said that we had damaged their mailbox. And we had no report from any of our drivers of any damage to anything. So we were able to pull video from multiple truck angles to see, from the front, from the back, from the side, because sometimes the video is a little bit, it's good, but it's not always, it can leave a little bit to be questioned at times as to what you're actually seeing. But with all the different cameras and all the different angles and from multiple trucks going into that neighborhood, we were able to determine if we actually did the damage or if it was damaged when the driver pulled up that day. Um, and I've shared with you all before too, not only is this good for waste services and verification of service, but we have a video of one of our drivers following a car that's chasing a kid on a bike, and he saw something, nefarious going on, and he had the sense to kind of follow and see what was going on. And his cameras basically catch a car chasing this kid down on a bike. And unfortunately, we're not going to show the video today. I'm sure people would love to see that. But we were able to get plate numbers from the cars. We actually see a driver jump out and start a fight with this kid on a bike. And it's good. It's really good for that sort of stuff too. If we need to be a witness to pay possibly an assault or something that happened where we see a car accident or something like that. Um, and I was trying to think of one other example that we recently had. Speaking of where the cameras don't lie, just about 2 weeks ago, we had a driver that got into a little fender bender, and he came and told us his story, and then we watched the video, and there's the video doesn't lie. The driver had a different perspective from what happened, and when we played the video back for him, we said, doesn't really match your story. Didn't seem like he was trying to all out, just completely lie to us, but the story didn't match. And so that gave us an opportunity to do like a coaching session on you are a professional driver, and you've unfortunately got to be a little bit more defensive than the folks that are out there driving amongst you, considering the size of truck that you have. So I'll let Nate talk a little bit.
No, I think, yeah, thanks. You guys really nailed a lot of the stuff that I was thinking about sharing. I think the only thing that I would add to it is, especially with so just going back to just the pictures, we have as I'm sure a lot of you don't know, but we have what we call a pay-as-you-throw system. So basically, the bigger the trash cart you have, the more you have to pay to get rid of it. And so with that, we have a strict lid closure policy, but we do leave the customers the option to set out extra bags, especially around the holidays and such. But we charge them a certain amount per bag. And so when our drivers do that, we can take an extra 5 bags is our limit. And it's whatever you can throw back in the cart, dump it safely. Anyway, we ask our drivers to take a picture of any extras that they're charged for. So if it's like, I think it's $3.50 a bag, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong. So, if you got 2 bags or just 1 bag, it's $3.50, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever that adds up to, through another system that downloads. There you go. You can see the extras right there. Before we approve the transaction on the supervisor, and we go and we can get, they can punch into their tablet, which I can't show you here, but that they charge extra. So it also has a customer ID. So we can search the customer ID quickly in the system, in the Routeware system, and see that yes, they did indeed have 2, 3 bags. So if we do charge them and they're actually paying attention to their utility bill, and they come back and say, hey, you charged me extra, we now have picture evidence that, yeah, you did set out 3 extra bags. So that comes in, that's been invaluable many times, and not so much for the supervisors, but especially for the CSRs, the ones up front that have to take the pictures. So that's an everyday thing, and that is coming very handy. When you're gonna obviously let people set out extra bags, you got to be able to, if the customers do complain, you got to be able to prove that, yeah, we're charging you for the appropriate amount of extra trash that you put out. So, the only other thing that I would share with video, everything that Charlie said, everything that Tyler said has been really, really great. One thing that we've done is, we started encouraging our drivers to let us know when they have a near miss or when they see something, a near miss, and then we share it as tailgate safety topics in the mornings and through the video. And if you want to, I can I can share my screen for, I have
Yeah.
one picked out here.
Here, let me stop
Um,
mine. Okay.
and this is just one real quick one. Get the right screen here. Where our driver was actually in the wrong, but we encouraged him. I gotta get the right screen. What screen are you guys? Oh, you're seeing I think you're seeing the right screen.
I think you are.
So we actually encourage the drivers, hey, if you have a near miss, even if it's your fault, please share it with us. We all need to be aware. So here's one that our driver, and just because they have a near miss, we don't get him in trouble or anything, but here's one where our driver's cruising down the road and it's his fault. You'll see on his side here, there's a bicycle coming up. It takes a little bit to get there. Maybe I'll just fast forward here. You see the cyclist coming up on the right here. Can everybody see that?
Mhm.
So the cyclist has a green light to go, but our driver is taking a left here and he doesn't see the cyclist. So this is a green light. So the cyclist is in the right. Our driver is somewhat in the wrong. This guy's on the wrong side of the street. I mean, that's why they say
Yeah, I was
go with
gonna
the flow of
say.
traffic. But I mean, it's questionable. But here's something that we want to make our drivers aware of. Sometimes, the bicyclist is in the wrong, but you still don't want to hit him, obviously. But here he goes right across there, and our driver turns, and I can show another video, but I'll show the front video now. That's the side video, so you can see it. Now, if I go back, move this over here, and I show this same thing with another view. I believe this is the front view. Yeah, you see it real clearly here. And he does turn, just how closely he comes making contact with this cyclist. This is the right one.
I think you clicked on Daryl, didn't you? Oh no, you're on bike at 57th and Taft.
And this is an extra one that we didn't need. Well, I did have one that showed the front view, and I don't know what happened to it, but
Yeah,
oh, here it
this one
goes.
says
There, see,
Daryl. Oh,
right there,
okay.
right there. So I was past. So remember how we saw the bike coming up on his left? And then when he went to take a left, this is the actual front view of the bike coming in front of him. So obviously, if Daryl hadn't been paying attention, that could have been a tragedy, obviously. So that's the front view. That's how close he came to that bicyclist. So yeah, should the cyclist have been paying attention? Yes. Is he on the wrong side of the road? Yes. Should Daryl have been paying more attention? Well, maybe. I mean, I guess that's arguable. But the point is, just this type of stuff brings everything back to the forefront in everybody's mind day to day. Like, be careful out there because you never know what you're going to run into. People do some wacky stuff, and you certainly don't. Whether whoever's in the wrong, nobody wants to run over somebody on a bicycle or hit a pedestrian. And then, obviously, like Tyler said, if there's an accident discrepancy, our risk management department absolutely loves this system because there's no guesswork. I've had drivers come up to me and there was before we had the video system, everybody has these ring cam videos, right? A driver, or I got a complaint from a customer, said, hey, your driver hit this van out in front of my yard or out in front of my house. And they said, oh, we have video. I said, okay, well, can you send me the video? So I go to I talk to the driver and he says, nope, didn't hit it. I didn't make any contact. Get the video from the customer and yeah, he definitely made contact with the van. And he stuck to his guns and said, no, I don't remember that. I don't remember hitting that. So I don't know what's scarier, the fact that he hit the van or the fact that he didn't remember. Regardless, if we had the video, it would have been a lot easier to just say, no, like Tyler said, the video doesn't lie. So our risk management department definitely loves it. And on the reverse side of that, when people accuse us of stuff constantly, because it's easy to accuse the trash truck of hitting your car when you hear some noise. Well, we've, like Tyler, I think he touched on this. We've got the video that says, no, we went by there, all three trucks. We got video on all of them, and nobody made contact with your gray SUV outside of such and such address. So both ways it comes into contact. And then just because a lot of people are probably going to have questions about, do the drivers, are they paranoid? Do they these pictures, these tablets, this video, all this stuff is always met with a grain of pessimism and paranoia. We still got drivers that tape up the camera on the tablet, but
Yeah.
I will say, after they get used to it, it really is a CYA measure for them. If they're out there performing appropriately and they're out there doing their job safely, it really is just watching their back for them. And I think a lot of them have come to accept that and actually rely on it and they actually like it. And now we've gotten to a point where when we first rolled out all this stuff, we had drivers that just did not want to use the tablet, did not want to use the video, did not want to use. Now they don't want to go in a truck unless it has all that stuff because it's saved so many drivers from either being accused of leaving stops or hitting something or making contact or doing something wrong that they say, no, it wasn't me, it wasn't me. Well, it takes us out of this. They said, he said, the customer said, the driver says, it takes all the guessing work out of it. So definitely a benefit, especially for supervisors. And then, as always, we don't play Big Brother, but we can if we need to, which is obviously very useful for us at times.
So I'm not sure how we're doing on time, but three things that kind of came up while Nate was talking there. Going on the last thing about Big Brother, I think sometimes our drivers think that we're watching them, and we have not gone to the route of the cameras faced in yet. But something that I've noticed after 20 years of managing teams is we don't have to go look for stuff; it falls in our lap. And now the video helps us even more with verifying stuff that happened. And so, also speaking of talking about training, I think we're always looking for new ways to train our employees. And we work for a municipality, so we get handed down a lot of training from our risk group. Like you got to talk about this, you got to talk about that. A lot of times it's not germane to what we do every day. We might be talking about, just different things that you could find risks where there's risks out there. And a lot of them, just like I said, aren't germane to what we do on a day-to-day basis. These videos now help us do more training that shows real life scenarios. And I think the drivers really like that, to see what their other drivers and their fellow employees ran into. Some of them, I think sometimes it's almost like, oh, you should see this. It almost gives them bragging rights now to see who ran into the most messed up situation in any given day. Another thing to talk about is especially if you're here with the municipality today, asset management. That's becoming a really, really big thing for all cities, is to figure out where their assets are, how many of everything they have. And these trucks with these cameras they're basically a vessel that drive up and down every single street every day, whether you're using it strictly for waste collections and service verification, or can you integrate it in some way or another to use these cameras and this video service to check how many street signs there are or how many potholes you come across? That would obviously be more of a movement towards AI and those being able to pick that stuff up. But this video service could definitely be used for that in the near future.
That was incredible. Thank you so much, everyone. I think we can move on to questions. Before we do, I just want to say I think I can watch those truck videos all day. That was extremely fascinating and incredible to see. So thanks for sharing those. All right, so we have one question in the chat, and I want to thank Jonathan for bringing this up. But I think this question is probably for Charlie. Can you briefly explain Smart City, or maybe the difference between Smart City and RCC, those capabilities?
Uh, yeah, just very briefly. So, if you guys are familiar with Smart City, there was a company called Rubicon, that had the Smart City product. Last year, Routeware acquired Rubicon, so now Smart City is a Routeware product as well. So I guess the biggest difference that I would draw in just a really brief time would be that Routeware Control Center, the product that we showed earlier, is very hardware, it's very hardware, I don't want to say intensive or whatever. It's very flexible. We can add lots of smart truck features, externally mounted camera system, attachment to the arm so we can measure when the arms are going up and down, onboard scales, RFID readers, all of that kind of stuff. Smart City is more of a software first approach to it. Not going to have all those hardware connections on there. Rather, it's trying to, use like an algorithm to confirm service, that type of thing. So that would be the The main difference, that I would draw, neither of them is a billing system. So they're oftentimes used by municipalities that are doing billing, another way, but they need some technology, in the vehicles for where are the trucks, how are the routes going to complete, can I send a helper route, that type of thing. So all of those different um, features are going to be in both. But maybe the biggest difference, I'd say, if you've got a lot of hardware that you want on your vehicles, Route Control Center is a good fit. Kind of want more of a software, hardware light approach. Smart City is an option.
Thank you, Charlie. And I know you mentioned billing software, and we do have a question in the Q&A about that. Is this available for Encore or eMobile users? Or
Yeah, so the picture service and the video is absolutely, you can use eMobile for that. It can go into the Encore portal, that exists, today.
awesome, exciting. All right, another question in the Q&A. Do you get public records requests for video? Has that been burdensome or problematic? If so?
So we have not had any requests for our video in solid waste yet, but the city, I actually just saw a form come through a week ago on security cameras and video services around the city, which included our Routeware premium video service. And I don't recall what it said, but pretty much, yes, it would be public information, even if they had to redact some stuff, but we have not got it yet, but I would think that I'm almost certain that this is considered public information at this point if somebody wanted it.
That was a really good question. The next question is, Ralph wants to know, Nathan, what's your fleet size and how long does video save if running 7 to 8 um, cameras per truck? Does this work for extras like 1 week to 1 month later?
Our fleet is not biggest. We run 7 trash, 4 recycling, and 3 seasonal yard waste, and then we got 2 dumpster trucks. So not a huge fleet. But yeah, obviously getting bigger. Loveland's a quickly growing town. We have it set up to where our data stays in the system for 4 weeks, I believe. Last I knew, so we can go back to 4 weeks ago and pull data, the video for whatever date, up to 4 weeks back. Obviously, you can't keep it forever, so you have to pick a time which best works for you. And then what was the other part of that question?
Does it work for extras like 1 week to 1 month later?
Yeah, it certainly can. The pictures stay there for as long as I mean, for a long time. I don't know what the cutoff is. I think that's years for pictures, but the video is only for a month.
Okay, got it. We have a question from Greg Holt. It's a kind of a Rubicon Smart City question. Will my old Rubicon platform change to mirror the one Routeware has?
We're looking to incorporate the best features of each of the products. We're always looking to, change, improve user interface, things like that. Are we hard at work to make the Smart City user interface look like, Routeware Control Center? That's probably not the first thing, that we're looking at. I don't want anybody to think that, well, we're turning one off and we're going to this one and get ready to switch or whatever. There's nothing, like that in the works. But where there are features in one that everybody loves, and gosh, I love this RCC feature. Can it go in Smart City and vice versa? Yeah, our product team is at work trying to incorporate those things.
Thank you. One question I see is, can premium video camera, is this a good solution for reporting contaminated recycling?
Or and Nate, you guys might have to weigh in on this as well. If you're tagging contaminated recycling, oftentimes it is just a button on the tablet. It's not that it's not out, it's that it was contaminated, and that can fire that photo automatically. And where does the video come in? Kind of what Tyler was talking about earlier. Like if I hit not out or hit that pounder button, yeah, it fires that camera. But we also store the truck, the date, and the time so that it will make it easy to get back to that video through the RCC portal. You saw there, it was just fully integrated. I just hit the camera button and it already knows, to go pull that. If it wasn't integrated like that, we try to give you lots of different options. Then you could just go back, like I showed you when we were pulling historical video, truck, date, time, let me pull that video. If I needed to get the still frame, out because I didn't get the photo, that I wanted, you could do it that way. So, surely it is, it's a good solution for any reason that you didn't pick it up, right? It was not out, it was contaminated, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so on that, I mean, most of the time, because we do prefer the lid to be closed, especially on the trash, but on the recycle where you see the contamination, if the lid's down, we don't see the contamination until it's too late. If we get there and the lid is open and we see contamination, the driver will mark it in the tablet. And then we will also get out and put a tag on the cart saying, unfortunately, it was contaminated. Getting our drivers to do this every time, I think anybody that's ever managed teams like this, they don't do it all the time, but we try to be consistent with it. The three-part question on how do we collect yard waste, and other garbage, recycling, commercial waste, and yard waste. We do all of our single stream. So our trash, our recycling trucks, and our yard waste trucks are all universal. They're all automated, and we do everything, through toters, through carts. As far as our bulky collections, we do some with the rear loader, but we also have 3 flatbed trucks, one of them that's got a large grapple that we can go out and collect, and the drivers can pull those we've got cameras on those trucks too. And Nate, I'm sorry, I forget about this, but do the drivers still pull the tablets out of the cradle at times to go take pictures, or are we kind of past that?
We are past that, but they can still do that. But no, we take everything through service verification camera. And I'm not as detailed as I should be, but I think you could actually go in and select which camera you want to take a picture with and select, because I know the dumpster guys, they'll take a lot of pictures from their rear camera because they're backing up to a stop. So you can pick which camera you want to take a picture with. So we don't really need to take the tablet out, but we still can.
Looks like Courtney from Nesbitt, or Courtney Nesbitt's asking, they can add the pounder button.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, actually, that is a great transition. So, with that, I do just want to thank Nathan and Tyler for all of your genius insight today. And again, man, send us those videos. I want to see some more of that. And thank you, Charlie, for all of your insight behind the scenes today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Right now, you're actually seeing a few quotes from our other customers, just seeing how they used and how they have grown to really rely on the system to record their day to day. Very importantly, how to get in touch with us. So, for anyone asking for that pounder button today, if you want to get started today with premium Routeware premium video, or if you're just exploring options, then what you want to do is you want to connect with us, contact us at sales@routeware.com, and we're going to be happy to set you up with a one-on-one demo to get you in front of a sales rep who can go over all the details of the product with you. We know that having the right technology in your trucks can make all the difference. Having the right technology is essential. So again, don't hesitate to contact us at sales@routeware.com. We'll make sure all of your questions are answered and help you explore the best solutions for your operations.